Yo, dude. How you doing? How's it
I'm
going?
doing great, dude.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit, did I become party leader? Are you watching replay now?
No, you're by yourself.
Oh fuck. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's all good. I made the call as well on Western Europe again, so you shouldn't be able to have a problem hearing me, and vice
Okay.
versa.
So I need to just get the replay on. 2 seconds.
No worries, dude. No worries.
How's the wrist going?
Better. Not great, but better. How you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. My girlfriend. I'm not sure how to say we live together, but it's not. We're not married. I don't know
Yeah,
what you
girlfriend's
call
fine.
it in
Yeah,
English, but
girlfriend's fine.
yeah. Yeah, she just left for a week for vacation with one of her friends, so I'm all alone a whole week,
Oh,
and it's so nice.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
How long you guys live together?
yeah, we will live together for 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like we have a situation, or it's like a state here in Norway. It's like being married, but it's not actually
Yeah,
marriage.
yeah. Like you guys don't have a kid together, but you live together. You pay bills together. You have
That's right.
intimacy
We,
together.
yes, but it's like
Yes.
we have an official status as a couple, kind of.
Sure. Yeah, it's
It's
pretty. It's honest. It's pretty
so,
standard. I know. I've known people who've done that plenty of times.
yeah.
Are you?
Okay,
Is it something that you're ever gonna do in the future though? Are you ever gonna? Do you ever? Do either one of you ever want to get
yeah, yeah,
married? You just.
yeah, sure,
Okay. You just like don't want to do it now.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It's probably the same thing with kids. I imagine you both probably gonna have kids, but not now.
Yeah. It's extremely expensive though
Yeah.
to marry here in Norway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like you have to, like my brother-in-law, he is getting married, but they have to save up for the wedding for 2 whole years because
Is it because of the
I think
ceremony, or is
people.
it like just because of what it costs to like legally get married?
No. It's like the ceremony and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. Okay.
It's because everything is very expensive in
Yeah. Yeah.
Norway. It's like, yeah. So I think you have to save up like, how much is it in dollars? I think it's like,
Can you ballpark me what you think it would cost?
yeah. It would be maybe $25,000. I think
Yeah. Okay. So in USD, that'd probably
that's
be like
like
maybe
a.
like 40.
No, it's no in USD. It's 25,000.
Oh, 25,000 in USD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like 250,000 in Norwegian.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, dude, we can skip quickly through the opening here. What I'm really curious about in this game is what like tactically and strategically can I do better in this game, because I think this game I'm really focusing on scouting and creep spreading. But I'm also I feel like I'm doing a very good game here. I feel like I'm playing well. I think I win it as well. But I'm looking for more ways to improve, because I've been really focusing on stuff we've been talking about, scouting and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing that properly enough too.
So far this game, your gas is quite is I don't know what's going on with your gas again though. Just because you're
Yeah, I forget it.
yeah
Yeah, that's right.
this
Yeah.
one's gonna
I
it's
didn't even start speed, right?
no, yeah, you don't have speed and you have 200 gas now,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
you're
it's
this game.
ridiculous.
I would say just like this is already like these kind of things we're gonna have to like if you really want to improve as fast as you can, we got to go over this stuff really quick because it already has made the game way slower pace for you.
Yeah.
So your gas timing is huge as well, like we just said. Depending on what your plan is, if you want to all in him, keeping speed on is fine. But if you don't want to all in him, you really need to take drones off gas at 100.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
on top,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
oh, it's good. And I was say on top of that,
Yeah.
when your drones, we're gonna talk over each other again. But I gotta say this one part: when you're
Sure.
when you make your lings, like when you start your lings, you should also, if you don't even have enough money to do it, it's fine. But just send a drone like to your third. Before you just want to send a drone to your third before the Reaper arrives, because and this is if you're going gasless or not. Because if you have a drone at your third that can then take a third, even if he's like shooting your lings at your natural now you don't have to deal with the Reaper zoning you out. And your third this game is pretty delayed. I would say your third is already late by about like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And counting.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to say is that I always get speed and I always pull off gas. Like this is maybe the first game in 100 that I don't, or something. It's just laziness or me being distracted or something.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's why I also want to skip the early game in this game, because it's not how I usually play, and it's not really what I'm looking to get.
The only reason why I make such a big deal about it is because the early game is going to change the pace of the late game, and you're going to be playing from behind for sure.
Yeah, totally. I understand. I get the concept.
Okay. All right.
I was really more looking for this game, like more strategic. What, like in this position, what should I really be focusing on, and what should I kind of do? Here?
Right now, okay, I'll pause it at 4 minutes. Right now,
Yeah, sure.
I would say your third is so fucking late. Like if you're gonna get, you don't even need speed though, so you're going for a roach wall off situation here. Against Terran, this build, I know this is a bronze GM build that I was doing for a long time, but the inefficiency of your build is going to make this really hard to do anything. And I would say the best thing for you to do from this position now is going to be take a third, and you could just make some roaches and queens and try and hold any type of a timing that can come. But getting your economy going is going to be super important here, because I don't know if you're going to go into Lingbane out of this later on, but if you're going to go Roach Ravager or like roaches. Okay, your third looks like it's going to start now, so that's good.
Yeah.
But it's still so late though.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I'd recommend honestly not doing this build though. If you're going to do roaches against Terran like this, and roaches and queens, don't do the bronze GM build. Do like my gasless builds. Bronze GM is like, cause do you like playing like this a lot? Do you like going roach style, like with just roaches against Terran often?
No, I almost never do it.
Okay.
I had so much gas and I fucked up the opening with speed, so I went.
Okay, so this is just something you just did as a like plan B.
Yeah. I usually always just go for ling upgrades and do the very heavy micro or in multitasking heavy style of ling bane corruptor against Terrans. Okay. Like we have commented before.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say like for roach styles in general, bronze GM build is just if you ever get in a situation where you're going roaches again, just know that it would actually be even better if you took all your drones off gas, took a third as fast as you could, and then went queens and then roaches again. Going for gas heavy roaches early is so bad. The only way it would work is if you knight us all in. That's the only way it works.
Yeah.
Against better turns. But now you're making drones. Your saturation is it's not the worst. It's not great though. You're about like 30 seconds behind, I would say, where you should be. So it's not terrible, but you have the right idea at least. You're making your drones. You're focusing on that. You're not just sitting making roaches all day.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Roaches is very much out of position here.
Oh yeah. And your drones
like
could
a
die
better
to
Terran would totally die. I mean, dive on this mineral.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
So like if you have roaches and you're like playing defensive, it's a really good idea too to spread them out, like cut them in half, like 50% in front of your natural, 50% in front of your third.
Yeah.
When you're just chilling. I like that you're double expanding. You're going into ling upgrades now. This is fine. Your game's kind of stabilizing. So I will say, I'm gonna pause it at 8 minutes and just say, because I have to say it. I will pretend like nothing has happened this game, and this is just where we are. But you should be dead right now, versus plenty of Terrans.
I know.
But
I totally know.
I won't fucking make this replay analysis all about that. But anyone who watches this, just know that if you wanted to see like a good early game or like good early game analysis, there's plenty of other replay analysis that have done that tell things about that. But for this one, we'll just kind of bypass it and we'll go to now around 8 minutes where the game is kind of turning into what's after macro, basically. Your situational like army movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so what you should do now is the things that I've told you before, where I would love it if you have like a scout at his future expansions. Always try to just see like future bases. You know he has a third base, but I'd love to see if if he has a fourth or a fifth setup. And you do know on the minimap he does have a fourth base being started at least, because I'm gonna pause really fast and just see like you may or may not have clicked on it, but here's a tip for everyone out there. If you look at the minimap and the Terran's natural, don't look at the actual screen, look at the minimap, and you can see the size of the box. The only boxes that are that large are command centers. And you can gauge by how big a box is for like production, and you can look at the main base now and look at the box right below the main in Terran's base, and you can see that the box that is a production facility is actually quite a bit smaller than a command center. So we already for sure know he's on 4 bases.
Yeah.
Or 4 command centers, rather. It doesn't have to necessarily be 4 base yet.
Yeah.
So knowing that would be... this is something that I would say your drone count needs to be quickly fixed. So you're making fuckloads of units right now, and I think it's a bit excessive.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it should be... you should have made like enough units to defend yourself. Maybe poke around and scout a little bit, but then quickly saturate your 4th.
What do you think about my focus on creep spreading here? Because that's really what I was trying to practice.
I like it. I think your creep spread is...
I'm already at third, almost.
I think your creep spread is good in one direction. I think it's honestly kind of... It's not weak, but it's not great. It's like mid-range. And your sides of the map... like the left side is actually not bad, but he killed some of it, which I can understand. The right side was not bad, but I think he also killed some of it. So replacing the creep too is a big deal. Like I totally get it if the Terran is putting effort in to deny your creep, but your creep overall is pretty, like if all of it combined, your creep's pretty good this game.
Yeah. I wasn't really asking so much about the the quality of the creep spread, more like the expenditure of attention to like I use so much of my energy just.
Are you asking?
Fix it,
I think you're saying. Are you asking me? Is like the direction
my attention on something else? That's right.
No. I think fixing your creep is fine, dude. That should be something that's definitely like a mandatory, like very important thing to do. Like I would say there is nothing more important in this game that has happened this far that is more important than fixing your creep. Because you can easily fix your creep and you still have plenty of time to like macro, make drones, make injects in your bases. About the only thing you can do that's going to deviate you from fixing your creep is if you're in the middle of attacking him. Because attacking your opponent is like one of the only things that like really kind of takes a lot of your attention.
Yeah.
But so far, nothing's really happened in terms of you attacking him that's made me go, oh shit, you just didn't have time to fix it. And I can see you're fixing it on the left side right now. Like he just killed it. The scan's still there. And right now on your screen, you have like 5 tumors being thrown down, which is great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what you should be doing. Yeah. But I think only one queen is doing it as well, which means that if you shift click it like this, I'm going to watch this queen and I'm going to see if it actually lands tumors down or if it misses tumors.
Yeah, I have. It's my control group number 2, so I have two. Yeah. But it's
so like
maybe could be,
like right there. It's very minor. It's not the biggest of deals, but look at this. You have the idea where you want to save the creep up the ramp, and I would say that is the most important creep to save because it is the furthest creep that is getting receded right now.
Yeah.
So I would say rushing to the creep furthest on the ramp, like right here, wherever I don't know if you can see my pings if you're watching everyone's vision, but
no, I don't.
Okay. Anyways,
okay, now I am.
Okay, yeah. The furthest left creep is the most important, and it gets receded to the point to where you lose. If we're talking about time, we lose time of about like 60 seconds because of letting it recede right there.
Yeah.
And that's if you're spreading it efficiently now. Again,
Mhm.
And now you're setting up to do it a timing. So the creep is kind of being neglected. Creep overall, again, I gotta say it's not bad. What you're doing is not bad, but if we're gonna talk about like what's really important, fixing and spreading on cooldown is definitely important, and it definitely could be a lot better if we're going to compare it to like top level, like if you're playing the best you ever could. But
Yeah.
for what you're doing, it's still pretty good. You still have a net around your bases. Your weakest part of your creep right now, I would say, is middle right, because you have no net around that expansion, but that expansion is kind of like a macro hatch right now anyways, so it's not the biggest of deals. But yeah, I like that you actually touched his third. That's definitely shows attention to detail with your creep here, because you got to cross the map by like 10 minutes, which is pretty fast.
Yeah. And I also recognize that my biggest problem, like right now, this game is my drone saturation. It should be like 90 or something.
Yeah, that's what
like
that's what I was saying earlier, for sure.
80 to 90. Yeah. Yeah, I totally. I think at this point, right about now, I totally recognize this as well in game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And he's actually pushing me. So.
Exactly. It's because
he's walking just on creep, and I have a huge clump of banelings. So
yeah.
I'm not very worried, but sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, well, where's your banelings though? Like middle
It's
right?
to the right.
Because if your army engages right now without the bans.
Yeah, that was just a mistake. I think I pulled him back right away. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Maybe.
you probably lost like 50 lings right there, or 40 or something. It's still quite a bit, but you can recover from that. That's not like you just threw the game right there.
15 supply of things.
Yeah.
30 links.
But the biggest thing, like, I think your creep is, I'm glad you're working on it. I think your creep is definitely above your, I still think your creep is above your skill level overall. I think that is one of your stronger points. But I think one of your things you definitely need to work on is repeatedly trying to understand what the Terran's doing with little scouts here and there, and reacting the best way you can. And this game, the amount of lings you've made before you made drones was, it sets the pace for everything to be behind, and you can see you're just behind in workers.
Totally.
I think it's just because you overreacted to like a medevac drop, and it's all it was designed to do was slow down your creep, and you had enough units already to deal with it. So that's gonna definitely hurt you. Also, the other thing too is if you're gonna go Ling Bane styles, out of if you're gonna go, this is something I just noticed. If you're gonna go Ling Bane styles out of a Roach opener, you need to prioritize Carapace all the way to level 3 as fast as you can and get melee.
Okay.
So if you're gonna go 1/1 Roach Carapace weapon, I don't mind that. That's fine. But then if you're gonna go into Ling Bane after that, you should go 2/1, or sorry, it would be then 1/2 for Ling Bane, because it would be now level 1 melee and then level 2 Carapace, and then 2/3, and then you could get level 3 melee while you get level 2 range weapons. If you want to go back into getting that too eventually for whatever reason.
Okay.
But yeah, do not ever prioritize range weapons again if you switch into Ling Bane over Carapace for melee.
Yeah. I think it was more like I didn't have the hive at the time when I started that or something, so I was like, oh shit, just get something.
Sure.
Maybe it will help me. Yeah, but it's better to save the gas, is what you say.
You should definitely not get. You should just not prioritize it. Yeah. If the problem is you're like, I have too much money, well then I'd be like, well, why is your tech so delayed? That's a better answer.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, well, what if I just get 3 Evo chambers and I make all 3 at once? Then I'd be like, well, what's the point of getting the range upgrade though? If you're going into mass Ling Bane, because if you're not gonna get a Hydra Den, it's actually completely worthless for now to go for range upgrades, because roaches are, you actually don't want them to be part of your army anymore. Once you get close to maxing out, they're complete garbage at this point, and you'd be better off just having more Ling Bane. Even if you had level 1 melee and level 3 range weapons, I would still say you'd be better off going more Ling Bane.
Okay, so at this point, I'm like, okay, you want to go so deep on creep? Well, no problem for me.
Yeah, taking the fight when the creep is still there is not bad. The only thing I would say is if you, a better way to take this fight, here's some more advanced shit, okay? Check this out.
Yeah, sure. Nice.
So we're going to watch your movements and his movements. This was a bit of a mistake from you, obviously. You know that. I know that. You back up. You can see him clearly pushing down on your creep. Imagine if right now you cut your Ling Bane, or your Banes rather, in half. 50% of them
Yeah.
go south, 50% of them go north up this way.
Okay.
And they come around the top side, like up there. And now you have 50% of your army like up north of him and then 50% south of him. Terran then commits down like this. If you had Lingbane coming around the top right now and you were coming up this ramp, here, I'll let the pings disappear first before I ping it again. Okay, so you have a lot of army chasing him right now. Imagine if it was only like half of what it is now and the other half was coming this way and cutting him off.
Yeah.
And then you actually kill all the bio before you have to really run into tanks while chasing him down. Because one of the only reasons why this worked is because he definitely walked really far away from tanks, but at the same time, he also he didn't also give you a moment for the creep to recede, or give a moment for the creep to recede. So it still did work for you in this situation, but it would, like most Terrans or most situations, it's not always going to be this, like, you know, it's like, oh wow, it still works for Zerg.
It only worked because he's bad. Right?
Yeah, it worked because he overextended way too hard. But you can actually make it to where even if it's a really good Terran, you can make them overextend by flanking them, and you can see where they're coming from because the creep tells you again and again and again where he is. So if you just set up a secondary attack to be, you know, to zone him as he tries to run away from you, you just immediately give yourself a great trade.
Yep.
And then the good thing too is, imagine if you actually, instead of going for the ramp, just imagine this too. Instead of going for the ramp that I just said on the right side, imagine if you went for the left ramp where you first engaged with your Lings a second ago, and you're like, oh shit. You would actually be catching a bunch of tanks unsieged at the moment, and then you could actually just kill all of his tanks too. But if you're gonna go for, like, no matter what, once you get higher level Zerg, if you go Ling Bane styles against Terran, you should always be trying to flank them. Always.
Yep. One more mistake here, like it's not the worst here, but I usually keep my corruptors on control group 3, not like with the whole army hotkey like this.
Yeah.
Which would have killed off all his medevacs and most of his marines.
Yeah.
At that point, because
you probably, I bet you probably could have killed like 2 of the medevacs, honestly. I don't think you could have killed all of them though, if you like boosted away.
No, sure.
But it still would have been better. I agree with you. So now, situations like this, I'm gonna pause it one more time and just say this. I like that. I like what you're doing with your production. I think you've missed the window to make drones, so you're kind of fucked right now. You're kind of stuck here like this in this situation. I think that right now though, because you've kind of reset him and you've also been reset, this should be your goal. This should now be your game plan. You should back up. Actually, before I say it, I want you to talk to me first. I want you to tell me what you're gonna do, what you would do in this situation with your game plan, and I'll just give you like some insight onto what I think you should do as well. But I want you to go first. Yeah. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, sure. That's a great plan. I think as you said that I had to get some army supply because I know he's saturated and has good production, and I think my plan here should be to split up my army and attack his fringe bases and deny him expansions, continue the creep spread, and then drone up my fringe bases.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay. You got a nice. I'll give you an A for that one. That was a good answer. Because as soon as you said that, that was very correct. So I'll elaborate further on that. I'm gonna. Nice. There's even more that I would say you could do, but you did not say anything wrong there, so that's fucking good.
Yeah. I'm glowing right now.
So what I would say is you should back up with your current situation. Like, do not shove in the center of his base anymore. Don't try to contest him, because you should know at this stage, if you're like, wow, okay, this Terran's on. If you were scouting the bases, okay, and you're like, okay, he's got 5 bases right now. You should know that if you're not fully saturated on 4, you're like, okay, I'm not in the best position. It's not great, but it's not terrible. But I shouldn't be trying to push through and go for trades because you're going to lose if that's your game plan. So backing up is great because of that reason. And then going and scouting fringe bases, like you said, is amazing. If you see anything vulnerable, denying them flat out would be amazing. But at the very least, just realizing how many bases he's on is important here. And then also threatening him to have to split his army apart and potentially defend his bases is important. So you don't have to necessarily run at the planetary and lose everything, but poking it and being like, oh, planetary, okay, let's not commit to that, but there is a planetary there. And then if you poke the other side and you were like, oh, it's a fresh command center, let's make it lift off. He goes and defends it. He's stuck defending himself. And while he's defending himself, you are transitioning, you are creep spreading, and as soon as you have brood lords would be the time I would say it is now safe to drone. And while you drone, you can also spend your resources more evenly by also then making infestors. Because if you have broods and infestors, you are solid as fuck against his current composition.
Yeah.
So everything you said is correct, and I think to add on top of it is literally just make brood lords and infestors and then drones once you have brood lords done.
Yeah. Except for the tech switch, that's what I usually try to do.
Yeah.
If
you were like the thing about like kind of, I just want to make sure we're on the same page here with why I'm telling you to go broods, and I think you are because you're going to go for a greater spire, right? Or you already are going for a greater spire right now. Is if you ever plan on fighting him straight up with ground units, you're going to lose every time. You're going to lose the game. Unless this guy is really fucking bad and he just walks like 40 Marines into like 10 Banes.
Yeah, sure.
Because you should never expect to beat Terran if you have equal economy or weaker economy by overpowering them with just a army that takes it to the fucking face for Zerg, which is like Lingbane.
Yeah.
But like Broodlord is super cost efficient, and something super cost efficient can totally win in a situation like this when you don't have an overwhelming economy.
Yep. Like of course my goal here is to get the Broodlord infestors.
Yeah.
That's totally. Yeah. I think I said it in a bad way, so.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Just understanding that cost efficiency is your goal if you do not have better economy. Is the grand golden rule there.
That's a very good way to imprint in my head.
Yeah.
Really. Like I need like rules like that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, my English is so bad today. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine, dude. You're fine.
I'm stumbling over my words today.
And you can always think about it too. There's like multiple ways to be cost efficient. Like one could be positioning of fight. Like this, what you're doing right now is incorrect.
Yeah, I know.
But like, there's multiple ways to be cost efficient. One could be just using the map to your advantage. Like you defensively use a choke point, or composition. You transition into something that is more cost efficient, stuff like that. But attacking him right now kind of just puts you back into the situation where your production is going to keep needing to be replaced. Like you're going to lose units, you're going to need to build units, and this lowers your ability to make drones, even though you are making drones right now by 5. But
yeah,
like this army is going, it should die for you. One thing that's kind of interesting though is like, where the fuck is this Terran's army? I feel like this Terran has not been upkeeping constantly, even though he has low money. Every production building he has right now is being fully used, but I feel like where the fuck is his money, dude? Like, where is his army? I feel like he shouldn't be as...
Oh, well, just killed everything. Like
yeah, but...
5 seconds ago.
I know, but it's... Like, I'm going to back it up and show you what I mean. Like, right now. He has...
I think you actually forget one of the biggest advantages of sucking as much as me, which is my opponents suck equally much. Like, we're all terrible in this league.
I actually did not really fully see how this fight went. This is the second fight after you bled out the first time. And he just walks forward onto creep again and sieges.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is why you're ahead. This is a fucking awful move by Terran.
Yeah.
This is like way overcommitted. This is like not understanding his boundaries.
Yeah.
Because as Terran, you can't be like, I'm going to go 5 bases and then walk all my fucking army across the map when I'm only... Like, I'm not even fully recovered. Like, look what's behind at his third.
Yeah.
He's got, like, another, like... He's got 2 tanks in the natural. He's got 1 tank siege in the third. He's got fucking 10 marauders. He's got 5 marines. That's, like, more than half of his army up there. Or about half the army up there. This is the worst fight ever for Terran. Okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. And after I crush this, I feel kind of safe.
Yeah, no...
So I think that's what I'm That's why I moved on the ghost inside
Yeah.
the slow field, and I was like, okay, well, this is a bad fight.
I
Just pull back, macro up, and kill him.
I don't disagree with you pushing forward when this happened. I did not see that he did that. I didn't even. I didn't. I thought like the last fight happened where you bled out and then you kind of fell back. This was terrible by
Yeah.
Terran, and this is like taking advantage of a mistake. And if he just
Yeah.
donates to his army, I'm totally fine with you attacking. So I didn't even realize that this just happened, but that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
Like I really just kind of paid attention again to what really happened there, and that was everything for Terran. And now he's bringing the other half of his army by itself away from the tanks again.
yeah.
So he's just
Oh, I
donating
have
unit after unit. What's up?
I have a technical question for you.
Sure.
If inside the slow field is the attack speed of all units slowed down as well?
No.
The attack speed?
Attack speed's the same. It's just move speed.
Okay.
Because if you click on the unit inside the debuff right now, you can see it on the unit. It's top left. It says inhibitor zone, and it's only move speed by 35%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks.
Alright. Yeah, that attack was fine. I don't disagree with it. I do think overcommitting, though, is going to be a mistake. So, now, I would say, good job smashing his third open a bit. You killed some SCVs. Some of them got away. You killed his depots. I would love it if you just pulled back here. And then make Broodlords.
I sent a few links first just to try to absorb the first 2 tank shots to kill his tank, but he had too much.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, this is like when you're overcommitting if you stay longer.
Yeah.
These Banes are a mistake. I would...
Banes.
You're making 24
Oh.
right now, and all under your Corruptors.
Oh.
I think right now, like, you've had the Greater Spire done now for a while, and I think that
Yeah.
I totally agree that you haven't made Broodlords because of how bad the Terran decisions were. Like, he gave you his army. I'm totally I'm on board with you attacking him at that point in time. I'm also on board with you remaking Lings for a second here because you just took an attack. You lost a lot of units yourself, but you also killed a lot of his. You also killed some of his economy. But you need something now while you transition. So I'm okay if you make the Lings you're currently making, the 34. It's okay. I really would love it now, though, if those, instead of Banes, those were just nothing. And you made Broods instead, and then you make Drones. And go into Drones Infestors. And, like, as soon as you go into the defensive posture, what I said earlier applies. And that applies to the fact that now he's actually turtling and he's not actually pushing anymore. Because if you don't ever do what I said with the drones and the Broodlords, you're going to repeatedly stay equal supply with Terran, even if you take great trades. Because realistically, his composition is better than yours if you don't move on from Lingbane only. And you're like, if he's ever sieged at any point in time, he's gonna take better trades than you. If you get lucky here and there by killing an army that's like way overextended, that's nice. But you'll just slowly fall back into the same situation throughout the game that you've been in before, and like your lead just diminishes. Because yeah, if you like think about like what he has. He has a bunch of tanks, a bunch of ghosts. He's got slow fields around his base just because of how the map is designed. But even if those didn't exist, it doesn't really matter. He's got PFs on fringe bases, and he's got basically a lot of fucking firepower that can absorb your army pretty decently. And if you make Broodlords, what can he really do against that? The best thing he can do, or go ahead, you go. You tell me. You tell me what you think.
Yeah. Well. I was going to say something else, but
Okay.
to answer your question, like the best thing he probably could do is snipe my Broodlords with the ghosts,
Sure.
and maybe EMP the infestors.
Okay.
So what I was going to say was because I saw the ghost and I saw that he had a lot of them, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't go for the infested Broodlord, then, because you can with the new EMP and stuff just
What would you do?
obliterate my. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, just picking him apart. So with Lingbane, or I'm not doing that, but I should be doing that.
You're gonna just keep going Lingbane because you're going Ghost?
Yeah, with the Corruptors, that's my immediate thought during the game. So, and I can recognize that was a bad decision, but yeah, sorry.
So
That's my thought process.
yeah,
Sorry.
It's not completely wrong, but it is wrong for this game, and this is why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I want you. This is actually I think going to be the biggest thing that'll help you improve, and I think this is like you and many players alike have this problem of recognizing what an army is, like what kind of army it is, and
Mm-hmm.
there are two kinds of armies. There's brute force and there's cost efficient. And brute force is the army composition you're going to be going for now. If you're going to be like, I'm just going to go fucking Ling Bane, go Ling Bane Corruptor, boys. That's brute force. And brute force
Yeah.
does not work if your economy is worse than your opponent. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to be able to kill him is if at this stage of the game, where if you're just gonna commit to brute force and you have worse economy than Terran, the only way it works is if he's always out of position just because, and you are like, oh wow, free command center, and we just blew it up, it's dead. Okay, we killed another one. Okay, this guy's back on 3 bases, and he's somehow let me just keep killing bases because he's always out of position. Then yes, you might win the game, but that it also means that the Terran is playing like shit, like super bad. Because if the Terran ever is in position to fight your brute force army, you're gonna lose. The only way it works is if you have a superior economy, so that even though you should expect him to be in position if you're going to brute force him, but it doesn't. The concept should be, even though he's in position, you just have so much that you just run him over. Like you might lose 80 supply, he might lose 40 supply. It might sound like a bad trade for Zerg, but you have such a good economy that you recover 80 supply and he only recovered 20 supply because that's how Zerg works. You just remax again and do it again, remax, do it again, and every time you break him down little by little, even though you're throwing a lot more money at the problem, you're actually going to break his army down like more each time because he can't recover as fast as you can. And then that's brute forcing him to death. But if you have a worse economy than your opponent, or an equal to worse economy than your opponent, what happens if you try to brute force him down is you fight him, you lose 80 supply, he loses 40 supply, he recovers 40 supply, you recover 80 supply. Like you're back to square one again. And then all it takes is like one fight for him that goes like not shit. And now you lose 80 supply, he loses 15 supply, and he just counter pushes and kills you.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the Terran maxes out, you will not ever win in a brute force situation.
Yeah. So your point here, just to drive it home, is we have two kinds of armies. You have brute force and cost efficiency or something, all right?
Yes.
Yes, and when we have equal or worse economy, we should always go for cost efficiency.
Yep.
It makes sense. Like it's not rocket science.
Yeah, because if you brute force him down and you're not better economy, it'll only work if he is making mistakes.
Yeah.
Which is why it's hard to learn that concept sometimes, because sometimes you might think to yourself, well, I won my last game going Ling Bane in this situation, so why wouldn't it work now? And sometimes people don't realize the economy difference from then to now, a different game to this game. And sometimes people also don't realize that one game they might have just got a completely open, free, natural to like kill or some shit, and the Terran was way out of position, and the next time the Terran's in position and they're like, well, I died this time though, so why did it not work when it worked last time?
Yeah. I actually feel like I should mention one more thing here.
Sure.
I actually thought
prime
at this
time.
point that I had a
Thank you for the 27
better
months, man.
economy, like greater
Love you.
economy than I do, because I was making drones earlier. You remember? Like I made 5 drones or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lot, but the reason it wasn't 25 or something, it was because I was supply blocked and I didn't realize. So I thought I made a lot of drones and I didn't. So at this point, at this stage, I actually think that I have a much greater economy than I do.
Okay. Well, here's
it takes me way too long to
here's,
realize.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, here's a new thing to ask you then for realizing that, because you should have known that when it happened. When you macro, where, like, just visualize in your mind right now. Okay, you're grabbing your hatcheries, and you're gonna make units. What are your eyes normally looking at when you do that?
Normally, it's looking at the larva.
Okay.
Like usually.
Yeah, that's what you should look at.
But what I've been, but what I've been practicing lately is trying to make drones while I do more army movement or while I do creep spread, like multitask it.
Yeah.
Like not stare at what I'm doing, but kind of, like we talked about, like making roaches while I'm attacking or defending. You know.
Yeah.
Like move, attack, move back, make roaches, like that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I think that's what I've that's why that happened this game.
There's two ways to look at your larva though and realize if you use it or not, or if the drones have been made or not. And one way is you can glance at it really fast. Like you can literally just make the units and then just quickly like snap your eyes down and then back up again and be like, how many eggs do I have? And that's one way to do it. The other way is you snap your eyes and look at the larva and you actually you commit it to memory just for a moment. You can forget it in 30 seconds, but commit it to memory for a moment. How much larva do I have? And that tells you so much things too. Like the looking at how much larva you have should tell you things like a trigger in your mind that says it's time to inject. And it also should tell you things like I haven't spent it yet. So like if you look at the larva and then 5 seconds later you take a second to make drones again while you're microing your army and you go, the larva is pretty much the same count. Well, that tells you you haven't spent it yet. So you should commit the amount of larva you have to like brief memory. Like it should just be something you balance throughout the game, and you don't have to remember what you had at like if you're at 8 minutes in the game. I'm not saying you have to memorize 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You should just remember what you had like 15 seconds ago.
Yep. I actually have one more thing. This is way low, but I actually feel like this game I had really good injects. Like I've been keeping an eye on my queens, and they are right now they're not very low in energy. I can admit that, especially the main queen, main base queen. But they have been consistently pretty low on energy, and I've also used up much of my larva throughout the game.
Okay.
And I still am floating a little bit of money with the low economy. So, do you think I should have like some macro hatches here, or is there something else I'm doing wrong with my macro, or is it because of course it's because I do links, which is very
that part of it exactly. You could easily spend your money if you just made your brood lords right now. All of it would get spent, but one of the reasons why you might have had a problem with your money spending it is because you stayed on 2 base for a long time in the beginning and your third was super delayed, and then exactly what you said, you went into lings, which is low cost for a long time, and then to counteract that you did things like you made double spire, you know, double spire is really the only thing you did, but you definitely don't need a macro hatch if you're going to open roach. If you're gonna go lings though, like if you do go, you know what, if you open roach and then you go, you know what, now I'm gonna transition to lings, then yes, you could make a macro hatch. That's fine. I'm not against that, but yeah, like your overall economy, I would say, was a bit slower on your larva because you took your third at like 5 minutes when you could have taken it like in half that time. But yeah, anyways.
Okay.
For sure. Link the big one is links.
Answered my own there, so.
Yeah.
But also the opening, like you said, it's of course a very important part of it.
Oh yeah. I want to see those broods, bro.
Yeah, you're not going to see them this game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm going to pause it and just say, I will keep talking, I guess, but this is all incorrect now. I think everything you're doing is incorrect if you're not going to make broods and you're going to go for brute force for the whole reason we described.
Yeah. We can, if you want, we can just quit the replay here because this is just what I'm going to do the rest of the game.
Okay, let's see it.
I'm just going to deny his bases and oh shit, I pulled back.
That's good. I think you should have pulled back there because he scanned you. He scanned your army, and he sees where you are, and you could have forced a reaction here because you're moving down this way, and you did.
Yep.
And you know it's a PF, so if you would have committed to that, you would have had your whole army would have died, and you would have because guaranteed you would have lost a lot of it to kill the PF, and all of it would have died if he came down behind you and killed you. Like you might have gotten out a few lings or something down the south side, but it would have been bad because you would have opened yourself to get counterattacked. And you would have died to that because you have nothing to defend a counterattack right now. So you just killed a PF, which is great, with Corruptor P. Now you're posturing on his base again. This is scary. Production-wise, you're getting melee carapace, which I like. You should have Like I feel like prioritize this a little bit sooner, but I still don't mind that you're getting it. But now you're attacking the PF, and this is the scary part because of the economy once again.
Yeah.
You killed some drones. You're now committing to the third, or the fourth rather. You killed the base. Everything's gonna die now. He has another command center that's about to retake its place, and now let's just look at what's gonna happen here. I can see the Terran counterattacking you now, or at the very least killing a shitload of your creep, which gives the Terran control of the game. He's killing lots and lots of creep. He's getting ready to counterattack you. He's doing it in a way that's kind of sloppy though. He's like balled up, just standing there on creep. This guy's he's kind of taking his sweet ass time to do anything. I feel like he could have definitely prioritized moving where he wanted to go with a direct. Because like, look at his vision. He actually doesn't know you have a base here either. So this guy's scouting is also not the greatest. He doesn't know fully what's going on and where things are happening, and this is due to the lack of harassment from him. He hasn't like probably like medevac harassed you in the last like 6 minutes or something, ever since your corruptors came out. So even though you still could do that, because you can just boost away from corruptors with the medevac if you have like one here, one there.
Yeah.
He lets all of his ghosts die. That's not the best call. But even then, he still overpowers your army because you've dedicated everything to smashing the command center. Yeah. So now, when we think about a trade, we're gonna open up the inventory or the economy tab really fast. If we think about a trade, you killed a PF, which was great with your corruptors, just your corruptors. That was a great trade. You've limited his base by 1, and now you have also spread creep in that direction. That was amazing. That was a like super good move. But then following it up, you've killed another PF to lose probably like 50 supply of army to do that, and open yourself up to a counterattack. And the end result is you killed like 20% of his army, and you lost your entire army to do that, and you both lost the base with workers at it. Because you lost your drones, you lost your hatchery, he lost SCVs, he lost a PF, but you only killed like 20% of his army that was pushing as your army all died.
Yeah.
So now you're in a position that is honestly just kind of a bad trade. And we'll see how the Terran goes from here, but he this is kind of like a weird ass thing for Terran to do. Like he loads up 3 medevacs. He's splitting his army up in the push, and now he has a bunch of other units that are just unsupported. Like it might still fuck you up because you don't really have any army to fight back against this, but this is, and from Terran's perspective, this is fucking scary to do this. As well.
I have corruptors, so he boosted in like he has no escape.
Yeah, like he's committing these units to like a suicide mission for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dumb. It would have been much better for him to just like keep it together.
Yeah, luckily for me, he's even a little bit worse than me, so in his decision making.
And now he's pushing you with tanks. Hold on, let me back up and see what you just did there. You found a base with your Zerglings. That was not a PF. You avoid his army. You go over to the command center. Great move. I like it. This is well worth your time if you're going to be looking for little trades that are nice. You almost even killed a tank. That was not bad. That was not that many lings. And you definitely disrupted his economy more than you invested into that. So, good trade. Yep. And now you recognize his armies on the other side of the map. So now you're trying to hit the other side of the map again, and you're trying to launch a new attack. The one thing about this that's kind of scary, though, is the way you shift commanded it. You move to the ground, and then you move into his mineral line. And what's going to happen is your lings are now going to run south around because there's a wall there. So you need to, every time there's a ramp where a wall is most likely there, you need to go to the base of the ramp, like just before where the depots are. Like somewhere in the middle of the ramp area, if you want to be able to actually hit the wall. Otherwise, you're never going to go into it. It's not, in this situation, it's even if you went to the wall, it's maybe not the best choice because he has army there. The tank isn't that big of a deal because he's going to splash his own wall here, but he also has army there, so that's something you just have to recognize. Like, as soon as you're like, okay, well, all my lings are just going to die against his army, this is a bad choice. Let's come back later. That's what I would say. But what's going to happen is your lings will run down south, and they might just run into his army anyways. You recognize it, you pull back, that's good. I like trying it's fine, but pulling back when you know it's not going to work is also important, and that's what you did. Yeah. But you are still playing the brute force style. which is fucking scary. This Terran also, if you notice, look at production. He does not replace economy, and if he did, you'd be fucked playing this way. He just doesn't rebuild workers.
Yeah. But I have 40 though, and he has... No, I'm sorry, he has 40.
That's what I'm saying. He actually has less than you because he doesn't replace workers.
Yeah.
He should actually have more than you. Because he's been on more bases than you have for longer, and the way you're playing, you haven't really made drones in the longest time yourself because you've been so brute force heavy. And you're the one who's the aggressor, which is understandable. Like, he's not the aggressor. He's the one who only gets aggressive after he thinks he has the advantage. So he's trying to play standard. And he just doesn't rebuild workers when he plays standard, which is a massive mistake for him. Now, this is impatience. Like, obviously you're gonna have a hard time because you're behind, but check this out. Like, you see him coming, you're poking around with some lings. I like it. It's not that
claiming the whole map.
Yeah.
Making bases everywhere.
But look, you just saw where he was with your lings. You see him again with that one bane. This is the worst time to attack him. Because, like, it's just, like, there's nothing you need to defend here. And this also is a situation where you're not going to really have a nice spread of creep. And it has zero chance of having a flank. And and then we're going to watch the commitment here.
And I also need to run through a slow field.
Exactly. That won't always happen on every map, but it's also very bad. So that you actually killed, I think, like nothing right there. You killed like maybe like one marine or something, but you lost a lot of lings. But imagine, I'm gonna speed it up to the point again.
Yeah.
Imagine like right now, if you scout him with the Bane here, like the one Bane randomly sees him. They should be doing shit like this all the time, with like a Zergling here and there or changelings. Like as soon as you realize, okay, Terran's gonna push, I need to have some of an idea where he is because he's not on my creep. You should always be like throwing a changeling here and there, a Zergling here and there to just like you should know where he is for the most part because if you see him being defensive, you can go for what you were going for a second ago, like counterattacks on his mineral lines on other bases. If he's going to be aggressive, set up something in a good position for yourself to defend it. Because if you let him go south right now, or to the right, it doesn't matter what direction he goes. If you let him walk forward and commit, and he just stim packed everything too, and he's got 2 medevacs. His medevacs are going to be like out of energy by the time this fight starts. So he's going to have like no durability to his army. There's no like upkeep here. This is also him being super impatient. Like his units are all half dead already. If you let him go down, or if you let him go to the right, all you do is you just grab your army and you split it into 2 halves, and you make it literally try to flank his army. That's the whole goal here, and you just don't fucking engage with part of it. Like, try your best to manage the timing of how you're gonna attack. Like, okay, like if your army on the top side is like way the fuck over here, and your army on the south side is right there, and he's pushing to the south side, and if you right now you were like if those 2 boxes were where your army was, and you just said attack his army now, obviously what's going to happen is your south side's going to engage way before your north side engages.
Yeah.
So the goal is to just engage with everything at the same time, and then just go in for a flank. Let him gain ground. If you have to sacrifice a little bit of creep to do that, to kill a way more efficient part of his army, that's totally fine. Because if you actually take efficient fights, you then gain map control, which makes it super easy to creep spread again.
Yep. I think actually I just clicked it wrong, kind of. No, I didn't.
Well, this fight is you just coming in from one angle and just going for it.
Yeah.
And then the only reason why they come in from a separate angle is because your banelings commit into the green field, and then as you tell instead of saying attack towards the tanks, you say attack towards the bio, which makes your banelings redirect and go to the south side. But your whole army's in one location, which is already a mistake.
Yeah. Totally.
Like, you should be premeditated splitting your army before he comes to your base.
Yeah. This is just terrible.
And the reason why you should have tabs on knowing to do that is because you should have scouts that go. He's here. Like, creep teamers also are scouts, but you should have some fucking scout that goes, he's coming from this direction. Let's start maneuvering around the map. Like, your army could be like this. This would be totally fine if like I'm gonna ping a lot here. If your army went down like this, and around like that, that'd be fine. if your army went up like this, that'd be fine. Just like going wide around his army. Like you don't have to go like within the same screen length of where he is. You can go wide and then commit once he, because you can let him go further towards your base. Like there's nothing here that needs to be defended. Just know like there's like a defense point where if you let him get to this point, you've let him go too far, and that is bases. If you can easily, if you could have defended a base, but you let him set up and kill a hatchery, that means you did not do it efficiently enough, and you now have let a base die. The only time you should ever let bases die is if it's your actual goal to not attack him there, and you're like, okay, I'm sacking that base, I need to engage somewhere else. There's no way I defend that. Then that's fine. Yeah. But if you ever let a base die and you're like, let's kill him now, that means you fucked that up. Yeah. And you wasted too much time.
Horrible.
Yeah, and this is once again brute force not working because you don't have the economy to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the golden rule there. So I see what you were going for there. You're trying to be fancy and not get AoE'd by the PF. But
I misclicked it.
yeah. Well, it's things like, it's just like knowing what you should be doing and doing things like trying to go mass Ling Bane and try and do counterattacks right now and trying to go for, Ling Bane and try to engage his army. Like these things are making your life so much harder than if you just made Broodlords.
Yeah. So, crazy thing is that I win this game.
Oh, I could believe it because this Terran also just makes massive mistakes. Like he walks his army to death. Like there was zero pullback there for the Terran.
Yeah.
And also here's the other thing about a Terran. It's not just army movements. It's worker production. And this is the first time, like you can see 3 SCVs in production and a new command center. Yeah. That's the first time I think this Terran has made anything related to economy since like the 12-minute mark.
Yeah.
So like this dude has like zero upkeep. Like this guy got to 5 bases really fast, but then he just went like, he just threw fucking macro out the window and was like, all right, we're playing an army game now, boys. We ain't doing shit with macro anymore. SCVs are dying. We're just going to rotate them around and just keep mining what we have. Like it's zero intention for macro upkeep.
Yeah. Let's pull out the guns.
Yeah, man. He went full American on that shit. I got guns.
Yeah, man. Throwing away my army again?
Yeah. You killed, but that actually wasn't the worst trade because here's why. At 19 minutes, almost 20 minutes, he's still on 4 bases, and you just killed his 4th base again, which means you just disrupted his economy on what little economy he has. So if we look at the income tab, now at brute force actually does make sense because this guy neglected his economy so fucking bad. Now you can do that because you have a better economy than him. So you will win playing brute force now.
Yep.
And the only reason why it has overall worked at this point is because this guy makes a lot of mistakes. He just doesn't replace what he loses, and he also overcommits his army in stupid ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, now if you lay on the pressure and you don't ever let him take a 5th base again, and you just keep attacking him, I agree with it at this stage of the game now.
Yeah.
And he just throws away another 2 medevacs. See, the biggest problem for this guy is he keeps doing one thing at a time. Like, imagine if he had 1 medevac. Those 2 medevacs he just had. Imagine if he had 1 medevac on the south side and 1 medevac on the north side. He aggroes your Ling Bane and Corruptor on the south side, and he boosts away, which makes you chase it, and it buys him more time, and suddenly you're out of position, and he lands on the top side, and he kills your drones at your top base. And then you're like, do I want to keep chasing this medevac, or do I want to go get rid of that now? And then he can boost the other one away. Like, he can rotate boosts on both sides of the map with, like, 1 medevac each. It's going to net him so much more damage. Even if one of the medevacs dies, he's going to get so much more potential damage done than just having his whole army in a clump and just suiciding into your main base repeatedly. Like, he boosts into you, not away from you, which means he suicides the units. And there's no intention because he drags you down to your main base, And for what? He has nothing else going on. So this Terran player, like, does not really fully understand, like, what he's doing with his army.
Yeah, he gave me every opportunity to come back and win.
Yeah, that's what, honestly, he's donating units to you, honestly, because he's not really getting anything done with them. And now you're brute forcing him again. You just wiped out a lot of his army with a lot of yours at the cost of a lot of yours, but he can't replace as fast as you can now. So now you're like, you guys, look at this. Your supply, you lose during this fight. He starts at 90, you start at 126. Fight's over. You're at, or sorry, I'll say him first. He's at 60 basically, so he lost about like 30 supply. Let's just say roughly he lost like 30 supply in that fight, and you lost roughly like 25 supply in that fight, because you lost you if you didn't have the Lings of Production right now, you would actually be at 103 and you were at 126, so you lost 23 supply. Similar supply lost right there. You took a little bit of a better engagement there, but it's similar. But the thing is you can produce way fucking faster than him now. So now, if you repeatedly do that and keep him low supply, you will kill him. This is great. You don't need to be cost efficient if you can just throw your bank account at your opponent and it just wins.
Yeah. Which, in practice, is what I do in real life too. I just throw my bank account at you, and I get better and win against my opponents.
There you go, dude. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big thing for real though is just the big thing to take away from this one is identifying cost efficiency versus brute force. And once you start getting more comfortable at doing that, that's like the golden ticket to knowing what the fuck you should be doing at any point in time in a game. And that comes from, that always comes from scouting the base counts.
Yeah. And before we quit, I have to say I'm very sorry that this replay wasn't 15 minutes. I thought it was.
What do you mean? Oh, I don't care, dude. It's totally fine. All I wanted to know if it was like a longer than 10 minute, or if it was a really, really quick one, like an all-in defense.
Yeah, sure.
Because I am like, if it's 15 minutes, if it's 20 minutes, it's roughly going to take me about the same amount of time. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay, dude. I think I learned a lot again, as usual. So.
Hell yeah, dude.
And thank you for taking the time, although you are going to play WoW. So.
No, it's all good, man.
It's great.
The only reason I was giving you shit is because I just wanted to know what time investment I was committing to it. Because I was like,
yeah.
Because you've been like that. It's because one time before you were like, "Hey, ViBE, you want to do a replay analysis?" And I was like, "Sure." And you linked me fucking 4 replays, and I was like, "Do you want me to go over all of them?" Yeah. You're like, "Yeah, whatever you want to do, pick them. We'll let chat decide what one they want to do first." I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" It's like 3 hours of replay analysis.
Well, dude, I have one more if you.
No,
do one more.
One and done. No. One and done today. All right, man.
Yeah.
Good shit. It was thanks for doing another one, and yeah, good luck to you, man, and I hope it helps.
Yeah, it's been great. I've actually I just broke through the 4K MMR barrier again, so thanks to your replays. So I mean analysis. Yeah,
you're improving, man. You're getting better.
Yeah, I am.
I can see it too in your gameplay. Like there's some things that obviously I can see you still make mistakes on, but the things we've talked about, you've definitely improved on. Like your initial scouting is better, and your creep spread is definitely better, and your overall builds are usually better. This game was a bit of a mess up, but yeah.
I think I actually have 80 or 90% win rate against Terrans.
That's really good
this season.
Good shit.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, man. Really keep it up. You're doing great.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing it, man. I'll see you in the next replay analysis. Later, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
And everybody, chat, guys, YouTube people, I didn't really give this one a proper intro. This was very impromptu replay analysis, but I'll give it a proper outro. And I only Muffin, I left the call because I wasn't sure if you were going to be like, wait, does ViBE want me to keep talking? It's outro time. thank you guys for watching the replay analysis. This is it for me today. If you guys liked it, if you're watching it on YouTube and you're like, oh, damn, I actually learned some shit here and I want to know more, go check out more. Go check out more of my videos if you want. They're all free. You might learn something. I've done a lot of these. And yeah, man, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one we make. So until then, have a great night. Have a great day. See you guys. Peace out.